I really want to just put aside all of our differences on whether AQ3D is a good game or not, and accept the fact that AQ3D is a social hub where we can all interact. Now, you don't necessarily need to play the game to interact socially. Now, we could just all hang out. We could all hang out right here on this bridge, fighting the story, or in battle on, or just do things. Just chill in game, just dance. AK3D is VR chat without the VR. Yeah, it is. AK3D is a social hub. Most MMOs are a social hub, if we're being quite honest. And I think we need to understand that. You're joining the week, your new PC to start face streaming. Nice. I was face streaming, but things are not set up here so that I can face stream just yet. So I'm gonna use my VTuber model for now. I'm glad I debuted as a VTuber before all of this happened. So one of the changes I want to address is that I'm no longer living where I used to. I've had to move out, and I'll explain why a little later down. And I do think I will be using the VTuber style of streaming for a little while until things get a little more settled here. So anyway, when is it? My birthday is on Tuesday. This Tuesday, that's coming up. So that's in 3 days, I believe. And then you can see my smexy face. Oh man. But yeah, I have so many things planned. Like there are so many things that I want to do, and life just, has a way of being life, And everybody says that these are challenges that we need to overcome, but it's not always easy, People like saying it is a lot easier than actually doing it when you're living in the moment and experiencing whatever it is that situation is. Now, this year has been filled with a lot of ups and downs for many of us, and I want to take time to appreciate that, especially as in a couple of days I'm going to be turning 29, so I'll be entering the next chapter of my life, and I think that now is a very good time for me to wrap up all of this. I don't know, like it's my hope that in sharing some of this that people who are watching now, people that are watching the VOD, maybe I might upload this to YouTube. Maybe you might feel a little less alone in your struggle, or maybe you might at least understand my struggle a little bit better. And or you may even feel more inclined to speak about the things that made your life difficult. I know there's a lot going on, and I know that nobody likes a Debbie Downer, and I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. Like, that is not my intention at all, right? But I know that people can feel like talking about things makes them a Debbie Downer, and then nobody wants to hear what they have to say. So it is my hope that, in using my platform to speak about some of the more personal things and talk about life, that talking about this helps people see that talking about life and its difficulties doesn't always have to be something that's done in a negative light, you know? Because it's always in, and I'm doing this like on the fly, right? So it's like, it's always in retrospect that, looking back at things, we earn a greater appreciation or like a greater understanding of things. Because in the moment when you're going through it, you're like, I don't know what's going on, right? And you may have like an emotional response to something, or you're trying to process things that are right in front of you. But when you're able to look back on it, you get a wider view, you get perspective on things that you may not have considered in the moment because you had a lot of things just in your face, All right, Morphe. Yeah, but before I get into that, I know I've shared a lot of this with most of you before, but there have been a lot of new people coming into like the Discord and stuff in the last couple of months, and on YouTube, we've been gaining a couple of subscribers and we've been gaining a couple of follows here on Twitch. So I want to share this with them as well, and for everybody in future that watches this. And I know that I have a VTuber model right now, and I want to say like I'm sorry for any immersion breaks for people that met me as a VTuber, but I did start out with a face cam, so everybody knows that I was everybody knows what I look like, right? So again, I apologize for the immersion break because I do have some pictures here somewhere. Yeah. Okay. All right. Because I did prep this a little bit earlier. I know I said I'm doing it on the fly, but I have a general idea of the direction I want to go, and I have like 2 or 3 pictures that I want to show to give a little bit of context for the appreciation or the magnitude, an appreciation of the magnitude. There we go. English, like in English, of how exactly things have changed. Let me just do a little jump in game. So I have that tag at the bottom of my stream category and on my Twitter bio saying that I'm disabled. And I wasn't always disabled, but my challenges with mobility did start at birth. Okay? And it's because I was born with a condition called developmental dysplasia. And wait. You getting hitched? No, 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 no. Oh, oh, jeez. God, no. All right. Um, so the condition I was born with is called developmental dysplasia, and it's something that the doctors didn't pick up on until I was a little bit older. And developmental dysplasia, for those of you that don't know, means that my joint wasn't really formed, so my hip socket wasn't there. There was nothing to go into the socket, so it was all just free moving inside of there. It was just muscle holding my leg in place, more or less. So I had my face surgery when I was like 3 years old, and I apologize if this is a little gruesome and a little too much for you. I'll try to keep it as light as possible, and if I do talk about it like it's nothing, it's because I've been living with this my entire life, so it might seem like nothing to me, so I apologize if it is a bit heavy for you, okay? And because I had my first surgery when I was like 3 years old, uh, I spent the majority of my early life in the hospital, and they, I had a couple surgeries between then and high school, and then high school was relatively okay. But it wasn't entirely a bad thing because thanks to how my childhood was and the kind of trauma, well, not necessarily trauma, but the kind of situations I was put through, um I was able to have a different perspective on life, and I was able to meet a lot of people that I probably would not have, wouldn't have met at the time. So my perspective was better than it would have been, I believe. That's what I tell myself. And I had a greater appreciation for the smaller things in life. Okay? So fast forward a couple of years, now I'm in university. I was in the prime of my youth. I was involved in various clubs. I even started to do a lot of volunteer activities, and I even started my own business. So it's very interesting because I always like walked with a limp, and any sort of walking or physical activity did cause me a lot of pain, but nevertheless I was very, very passionate about things like agriculture and helping people, and I was determined to, for better or worse, keep at that and not let my physical challenges or my mobility get the better of me. And I knew my leg was on a timeline, and I just wanted to do what I could before the time ran out. Now, I know that that might be something really stupid. Um, it might seem like something really stupid to a lot of you because if I didn't do that, I might probably have been able to preserve my leg for a little bit longer, but the inevitable fact was that at some point I was either going to lose my mobility or I was going to have surgery again. Right? So, anyway, but before that happened, uh, I have a photo somewhere here. I mean, don't know how big this is gonna be. Look at me. This is me in the prime of my youth. What even is this, guys? Just look at this. This is me coming out of a field with just like corn. Like I don't know if you can see it, but it's like this corn coming out of my pockets. So it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with me, right? But if this was like a video frame, you'd see me like limping to the left side. But agriculture was always like something close to my heart. And um another thing was I was really happy, right? I was happy and doing my thing. I had animals that I used to have to like get different grass for like additional forage and stuff. So there's this photo, and I know I've shown this photo here. I've shown this. I'm still emo away. Lol. I've shown this on stream many times. Oh Jesus Christ, that's big. That is huge. Oh my God. Did I lose my leg or what? We'll get to that, Morphe. Right. So this me that hair, bro. Yeah, I had like I had very nice hair. I do still have nice hair. It's growing back. It's growing back. I don't know how to pronounce that lesson, but yeah. So there was a phrase that came along with this photo. The caption was when my photographer took it. Well, I say my photographer, it was one of my friends, and he was like, this is the caption you're gonna use for this. He's like, your man might have class. Sorry, let me say that a little slower for those of you that don't speak broken English or understand what I'm saying. Your man might have class, but does he have grass? Right? It was hilarious. Like, what even? Your man might have class, but does he have grass? So, like, it was a big hit. It was one of my most popular photos, and that it was like when people saw me, they would use that phrase and stuff. Cause look at me. I was in the prime of my youth. Like you couldn't tell that there was something wrong with me unless you saw me walk or probably heard me speak, and you think that something was wrong with me in the head. But anyway, but soon after that, the timeline on my leg grew short as my pain grew stronger and my mobility decreased. I did lose in 2019. I lost an important family member, and my relationship at the time with my then girlfriend fell apart. And a couple months later, 2 months later, I had an 8-hour surgery that did not go well and left me in a very, very difficult position. The aftermath of that was about 6 months of me trying to regain some sort of mobility. I was bedridden for a year, and then I was in a wheelchair for a year. So this is something that you guys probably have never seen, a picture of me in a wheelchair. And I did put on a little bit of weight because when you're on like bed when you're bedridden and you're on a lot of medication and stuff, you do tend to put on a lot of weight, and that's not something I'm gonna hide, right? So I was in a wheelchair for a while, and then I was on crutches for a while. And this is me at one of the physiotherapy centers that I went to. You can see at my little t-shirt here says coffee then cows. It's one of my more prominent t-shirts. And then finally I was, where is this? I have a photo somewhere here. Yes, there we go. The last photo of the photos. Lag and his goats. Yep. So this is me with the walking stick. So I was eventually able to walk around again, and I did lose a lot of the weight. But it was still very, very much painful. Okay. But I was finally back to the old walking stick and trying to do things. So I went back out to work and whatnot. But my leg just, do you remember that surgery did not go well, and I was just in a lot of pain. But I didn't know the reason behind all of that. Hello, Turtle Sea. Welcome to the stream. We're doing a deep dive into some personal stuff, but you're welcome nonetheless. So yeah, that surgery didn't go well, and 3 years later brings us to November of the last year. You want to ask a question? Do you still have your beard? Yes, I do. It's not as strong, like it's not as long as it was. No, like as Do I have a photo with it being long? Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I have my photos folder here. This is the only photo with a beard in it. This was before the surgery. So it's not as big as it was in this photo, and that was me doing some agriculture work down in the Southland. Um, before my surgery in 2019. But yeah, so 3 years later, brought us to November of last year. Hi Spencer, welcome to the stream. And I needed to have another surgery because I was at a point where life became very much unlivable due to the chronic pain, which I found out later on that was caused by the cut that the surgeon made into the bone in the first surgery to put the prosthesis in. That never healed, and the cement that he used to put the prosthesis in, it did not go down far enough. So I was basically walking on a broken bone for 3 years. Uh, and the prosthesis became loose and it started to cause a lot of pain and problems. So I did need to get that sorted out. Otherwise, that was it, right? So a little over like 40,000 pounds later, because that surgery was really expensive, and it was done in England. The surgery itself was a success. The pain was gone. However, they damaged the nerve, so I lost the use of my left foot, and from the ankle down, I can't move it, and I need to use a splint to walk around at all. And I've been going to physiotherapy, and it's been just over a year at this point, but I'm not sure if there's been any progress aside from like a few instances where I did feel something fleeting, but it was like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and that was it. And they're very, very few and far between. And in February of this year, I did have a very rough time accepting that I was going to have to live with these challenges, of being permanently disabled. But once I accepted that, it was a lot easier to navigate life. And I convinced myself that what I gained was a lot greater than what I lost. And that is still something that I genuinely believe. After all, it showed me how many people truly do care. Like all of you that support me here, online, in EQ3D, the people at AE, all the people on Twitter and YouTube and everything. Everyone that supported me IRL. It's insane to know that I've touched the lives of so many people. And now this year was rough, and I know that I have done things that a lot of people don't agree with, and I'll just say I'm nowhere near being perfect. I don't claim to be. I've had my fair share of emotional responses, and even though I've apologized for it, I know that some relations will probably just never be mended. Okay. uh I'm sorry, Akalescent. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh at the end of that, but it's like I read chat while I was saying that. I'm like, I just had to laugh. I'm sorry, Akalescent. Oop, we're on an ad break, but that's okay. Most of you guys here are subbed. So jump. All right, yeah, cool, cool. We'll mhm, we did disconnected. So yeah, I know that a lot of the things that I said earlier in the year weren't really called for, and uh, I just want to say sorry to the people that I've hurt with the things that I have said. It wasn't intentional, right? Because I'm not trying to make excuses. I just want to explain a little bit more. I know I have, but let me just get this off of my chest, clear the air once and for all, and I will hopefully never bring it up ever again. Okay, I might bring it up at some point, but anyway. Earlier this year, I wanted to branch out and play other games, right? When I came back from my surgery, I realized that as much as I love AQ3D, there's a lot about the MMORPG genre in and of itself that I would like to experience, and I'd like to, live that experience with my friends. So when I wanted to branch out and play the games, I started to receive a lot of hate because they were like, you know, AE has supported me, the community has supported me, the EQ3D community that is, and they were upset that I didn't come back and I didn't have this grand thing where I just, became this, I don't know, beacon of hope. I don't know what exactly they were expecting, but it is what it is. And at the same time, I also received a lot of hate for being quote unquote an AE lapdog just because they helped support me for my surgery. No, AE has never forced me to say any of the things that I have said. Every single thing that I've done for them, aside from the promotional trailer that I did specifically for their YouTube channel, all of that was entirely of my own volition, and nobody forced me into doing any of that. There was no compensation received for doing that. Okay? So I don't know where that whole being a lapdog for AE comes from. Now, the reason I still play AK3D and the reason I will always be giving back to the community is because the community and AE were there for me in my time of need, and I will continue to stream AK3D and play AK3D because I feel honor bound to do so, because I want to make sure I am here for the people and the game and the community that was there for me when I needed it, regardless of whether or not those people are actually still in said community. It might not make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but it makes sense to me, which is why when I said what I said, I did not say that I was quitting, merely that I was branching out. But that being what it was enough to break the mental state that I was in at the time, and my response, albeit a very, very bad one, was to ask people that were only following me for AK30 content to leave if they did not want to see other games in the Discord and on socials. Now, I phrased it a lot nicer than that, and the intention was that, people were there for strictly giveaways, because we did a lot of giveaways on Twitter and on Discord and stuff. So people that were there only for the giveaways, we weren't going to be doing as many giveaways or anything anymore. So they were free to leave, because we do a lot of notification pings and stuff on Discord, etc. So if that wasn't your cup of tea, you could leave. Now, yes, I know, believe me, I know. If I could go back and stop myself from doing it, I would. But we're here now, and I have to live with the consequences of my actions, as does everybody else. So that's why we have two Discords, one for EQ3D and one for everything else. So I want to say sorry once again for those of you that were hurt by what I did and what I said. I am very sorry, and I truly do regret it. Like I said, if I could go back and change it, I would. I just want to build a community where everyone can just have a good time and find a reason to smile, including myself. Okay? Now, to get to what happened recently and why there have been so many changes and so many inconsistencies with the content, the streaming schedule, the gaming, and all of that, to sum it all up without divulging too much of personal details and without breaking Twitch's TOS, I had to deal with a lot of personal situations, a lot of family situations, a lot of work situations, a lot of emergencies where I had to spend a lot of time in the hospital with family members and stuff. And I ended up reclusing myself from society. I stopped playing games, I stopped streaming, I stopped being active on Discord. I was battling my own demons and my depression, and for too long on my own. And I did try to break out of it just before my anniversary, but then some more things happened IRL, and a situation happened at home that resulted in me having a mental breakdown due to a lot of ongoing arguments and a lot of hurtful things that were being said at the time. And now, maybe it's just circumstance or interpretation, but it is what it is. And I did have a mental breakdown, and let's just say that I am I'm very lucky to be sitting here and talking to you today. Because if that had gone differently, then anyway, that's a very that's dark, and I think that's against TOS to talk about that. So I'll you get the gist of it, right? I'm here now. I probably would not have been. Anyway, so I think I mentioned on Discord exactly what was happening. Not exactly what was happening, but I think I alluded to the exact context of that. Needless to say, I've had to move out of the place that I called home for years, and it has been rough, but I do have a newfound appreciation for life, and I am trying to work on my mental health and do things that bring me joy. And one of those things is streaming and being here with all of you. So, you heard me talk about my medication and stuff recently, and my body has had a difficult time adjusting to the new medication, which is why the streams have been so short. But I do think things have started to settle down, and I'm gonna try my best to forget the noise and just do my best and have fun. Not just because my therapist told me to, but because I genuinely want to, okay? And this recap has been a lot, and I'm sorry that it took so long. I've been ranting for about almost about half an hour now, probably less if you're watching the edited version on YouTube. But if you're struggling and you're in a dark place, just know that you don't have to be alone, okay? And I want to say this: games. Excuse me. Sorry. All right, I want to say this. Games are. How should I phrase this? Games are more than just mechanisms for escape. If you find yourself enjoying something, don't think too hard about it and ruin it for yourself. Don't try to think that it's just a coping mechanism and whatever it is. Just live in that moment if you can, responsibly, of course, and give yourself the priority that you need. I just want you to breathe and take things one moment at a time. You might not have all the answers. I mean, I don't have all the answers, but you don't necessarily need to. And, I'm not a professional, nor do I claim to be, but what I do know is that everybody's situation is unique. And all I'm trying to say is you don't have to be alone, and just don't make the mistakes that I did. People are happy that you are alive, and life is worth living. There's so many reasons to be alive. And that's all I want to say. Okay? Just take pride in the fact that you are alive and you are enough. Don't let anybody, not even yourself, don't let the thoughts in your head, the demons in your head, try to convince you that you're not. And yeah, things might be rough, but they're not always going to be rough. There is hope and silver linings. Jeez, thank you very much, Spencer. Thank you for the bits. Much love. The moonlighting game makes this a very dramatic and slightly romantic moment. Yeah. Thank you so much. Can we get some love in chat for Spencer? Can we get love in chat for everybody that's here right now?